Hello, Dr. Karen here, and I'm here with another LifeWave Micro training. And I thought I would take a moment to answer this really common question that you may be getting as well, especially if you're a LifeWave distributor or customer or potential distributor or customer. And that is this. The question is, well, if the patches, specifically, X39, Eon, IceWave, these all help with pain. So if I use the patches and it gets rid of my pain, does it mean that I have to use them forever? Ongoing, forever permanent. So this is how I answer this question. There are many different reasons that people have pain, right? It could be trauma, it could be surgery, it could be degeneration, it could be toxins, misalignments. There's all these different reasons for the pain. In Chinese medicine, we talk about pain being a result of energy blockages or qi that is blocked, and that causes this backup, if you will, of energy, and that causes the sensation of pain. So in Chinese medicine, it's fairly simple. You got chi blockage, you may have pain, and what the patches do, specifically the ice wave, helps to unblock the flow of energy so that you can increase the flow and therefore the pain goes away. And that's why people have used it, on a football field when someone gets injured or after surgery, or even on their pets or horses. We know LifeWave actually has AccuLife for horses that's been tested in horses and dogs. So I usually say, look, if you're using IceWave, okay, and that is for pain relief, and you're using it on a regular basis to address a chronic symptom of pain, oftentimes what I found in the past is that if you keep those channels clear, okay, if you keep those chi channels clear, not letting it get reblocked again, then what often happens is the body can start to heal itself. Because in Chinese medicine, we understand that when there's blockages or low chi, you don't actually or you're not able to heal yourself as well. But if you have a good flow of energy, then the natural healing processes of the body starts to kick in. And so a perfect example is I had a man with back pain from supposedly multiple herniated discs, and he couldn't afford acupuncture. He couldn't afford to come see me, so I had to come to a class to learn how to patch with the IceWave patches. And so we did the clock technique, exactly what was in the brochure, and he basically got out of pain right there on the spot within a few minutes. He goes, wow, this is amazing. Am I going to have to use these forever? I said, well, if you don't change your lifestyle, it's possible that you would keep contributing to the pain. For example, he would lift like 80-pound bags of cement like all the time. So his work, he did a lot of physical work. I said, well, I don't know how long you will need to use these. Maybe you will use them and, the pain blockages will be better and you won't have to use them as often, but you are doing really heavy lifting. You know what I mean? So anyway, so he ended up becoming a preferred customer, and we checked in with him. And after many months, and I noticed that he actually had stopped his automatic shipment. So I wanted to make sure he was okay, and he was alive and all that kind of stuff. So I chatted with him, and he says, oh, you know what? Initially, I was using them every day because I had pain every day, and they worked like a charm. They were awesome. And obviously, I saved money because I didn't have to go to acupuncture and have to drive all the way to see you. But he says after a while, he started noticing that the pain relief was lasting more than a day. So he started using them every other day. And even though he was still lifting, even though he was doing all this heavy labor, and then he noticed that he could skip to every third day. And you can imagine the rest of the story, right? Every fourth, fifth, and eventually he actually just noticed that he didn't really need them. So he didn't need to be put on auto ship. Now, I know that may not be good in terms of a business sense, but it's thrilling for me as a medical practitioner to see someone who really wasn't a patient of mine, who I did not give dietary advice to, habit advice to. I mean, really, he just used the patches and that was it. That's one intervention, and then so he did not have to use them on a regular basis anymore. He just used them as needed, which was pretty rare. So that's just a typical example of someone who just by unblocking energy gets better on their own. Now, is that going to be with everyone? Not necessarily. Lucky for us, instead of just relieving pain, we can actually have the body regenerate itself through GHK copper peptide, which is stimulated by the X39 patch, one of the newest patches that we have in LifeWave. We call it the stem cell patch, and the phototherapy helps to elevate GHK copper peptide in your body, which then activates stem cells, which can then regenerate parts of your body. So that's why we have before and after pictures of people, with varying different like scars that have remodeled, wrinkles that go away, they look younger, injuries that have not healed for 11 years, finally healing, after 90 days of therapy on the X39 patch. So with the X39, we have a much more powerful product, so that not only do you get rid of the symptom of pain with Ice Wave, for example, you can actually get your body to start repairing itself and really anti-aging to a much faster level with the X39s. And a lot of people will use the X39s first, because there's in my experience, about 80% of people really have immediate pain relief with X39, and we don't have to use Ice Wave or Eon. Eon is the one for stress and inflammation, which I often patch near the head, because I find that with people using cell phones and poor habits and all sorts of head injuries and stuff like that, that they could use the stress reliever near the head. A lot of times you don't need to even use the second patch. But if you're in that 20%, in my experience, where you don't get full pain relief with X39 alone, because remember, the stem cells are going to go wherever the body tells them to go. So say you have a knee issue, you've got bone on bone, you'd love to regrow cartilage, you got pain in the knee. Well, if you have increased stem cells, they're not necessarily going to fix your knee first. They're going to look at which system in your body is the most important and needs help first. So if that's your digestive system, which is part of your immune system, that's where they're going to go. Those stem cells, if it's your nervous system, if you've got brain injuries, or nervous system injuries, that's where it's going to go, right? If you've got acute trauma, that's where it's going to go. And what's really interesting about this body intelligence is, I'll give you an example. Again, this is from my clinic. I had a young woman, under the age of 20, okay, come, and she was getting acupuncture for acne. Nowadays, you would just use, the patches. It'd be a lot cheaper. Anyway, to help with the pimples and the skin healing, to support the skin healing. Anyway, so she was coming for acupuncture for pimples, and it was doing great. Really great. I'd see her not that often, once every 6 weeks or something like that, and her skin was, just great. But then she had some sort of athletic injury and broke her leg. So she broke her leg, and parents, brought her in crutches and all to get acupuncture for that, right? But she was to get acupuncture for her face, because it was her regular, every 6 week treatment. So I said, well, look, you have this injury. We probably should maybe see you a little bit more often, because your energy is going to be used to heal whatever the body feels is important first. And that's exactly what happened, is that the acupuncture did not work as well, or if at all, really initially, for the skin. But what it did do was help the bone and the skin around it heal much faster than if she did not get acupuncture. And this is, years and years ago, before we had X39. And it was only after the leg healed did she start seeing results on her face again. So that just tells you the intelligence of the body will bring the energy, and in this case for X39, the stem cells, wherever it needs to go first. So that's why I believe, anyway, why some people don't get immediate pain relief with it, because there's other things in the body that really need healing. And some of these things, you don't have symptoms. Like, for example, one of our, distributor leaders, she had lab tests done prior to patches, and she was in chronic renal failure, and she had, diverticulitis or diverticulosis, which is a condition in the bowel seen on, CAT scan. And while she was on these patches, she, got better in certain ways, but certainly wasn't really expecting too much in terms of her labs or her CAT scan. But when she redid these tests many months later, and this was after the X39 as well, they noticed that her blood results became normal. The kidneys repaired themselves, and the colon CAT scan was normal as well. So we can't make any claims that LifeWave will reverse diverticulosis or reverse, kidney disease. But in her case, whatever it did really helped, right? Having those stem cells probably really helped. So she did not feel a difference, but her labs and the CAT scan showed a difference. So with regards to pain, here's what I recommend. It's like, look, if you really want to not have to depend, quote unquote, on the IceWave, pain relief patches, what I would say was you really need to look at the core issues of why you have the pain in the first place. Now, sometimes that means, talking to a holistic doc or, an energy healer like myself, where we can figure these things out. You may have to look at your lifestyle, because if you are, I don't know, a sugar addict, okay, I think it's going to be really hard for you to not have to use the patches for pain relief if you are a sugar addict, because that is not a healthy habit, and the body has to fight against that, in order for it to heal. So, eating organic food, healing the gut, like, for example, drinking bone broth, staying away from genetically modified foods, de-stressing, which of course the Eon patch helps with, getting proper sleep, proper hydration, stress relief, meditation. Like, these are all positive things that you can do to help your body heal itself. So in addition to good lifestyle changes, you may need to figure out what the core issue is causing, contributing to the pain. I've had some people where, the core, some of the issues, maybe not core issues, but some of the core issues are like they have food intolerances. And so the pain is part of that. And if you don't know that, you could treat the symptom of pain all day long, but until you get rid of the food intolerances, which, by the way, we have found that there's ways of which you can do that with the patches as well, and certain protocols to help eliminate some of the symptoms of the food intolerances, then you may need to use the patches on a more regular basis. So the bottom line is, the better your lifestyle, the more attention you give to your wellness, body, mind, and soul, the less likely you're going to necessarily need, the IceWave patches for pain relief. And I believe that having the X39 as a foundational, and for most people daily, patch to help your body heal itself will probably in the long run markedly decrease your need for things like IceWave and pain relief patches being used on a regular basis. It may take some time, for your internal organs, different parts of you to heal itself, restructure itself, like scar tissue. We have a lot of before and after pictures of scar tissue healing with X39. But you can use, IceWave for breakthrough pain until that time comes, so just make sure that you, keep in mind your lifestyle habits, your eating habits, etc. And even though the IceWave is just generally marked for symptom relief, it is possible that even just with IceWave, you don't have to use it forever. So hopefully this is helpful. Please let me know if you have some questions about what I've just talked about today around this concept of not needing to use patches forever. Now, I actually choose to use patches on a daily basis. Why? Because I'm a really busy person, and I love being busy. I love being very productive. In fact, I published like 3 books in the last year, right? Last year, 3 books. So so I love being busy. So I want that support. And I spend more on healthcare than probably most people, spend on other things. So one person might spend money on a Gucci bag, right? I spend it on patches and my health. That's just my thing. I love spending money on my health because it's worth it. I love feeling good. I love being able to do figure skating and do tricks now that I couldn't do 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because most people can't claim that, right? Most people can't claim that 20 years later, they're more athletic than they were 20 years ago, right? But I can claim that. Like that is my daily reality, which is amazing. Like just freaking amazing. So yeah. So if you want to continue to improve or reverse age, then yeah, that is a good reason to use patches on a regular basis, especially the X39. But no, you don't necessarily have to use Ice Wave forever, permanently, just because you have pain. It is something that can be a temporary thing, depending on all the other factors we talked about. So if you're listening to this on the replay, please type in replay below so I can just see how many people saw this video. This video will be put on my YouTube channel. And you can get let's see if I can post to, oh yes, I can. Okay, so I'm going to post to the group here. It's patchtrainingteam.com/micro training. And that will give you the list of all the archived micro trainings that I've done in the past. So it'll take a couple of days to get this onto YouTube, but then you can feel free to share it. It's going to be public. So yes, so let's see if there's any questions here. Okay, so Gayla says, hey Gayla, I read that for school each year you have been sick, you should give it 1 month. Any comments or thoughts on that? You should give it one. Okay. I think I know what you mean. Yeah. So so there is a teaching, I don't know if it's from homeopathy or anything, but say, for example, you've been sick 10 years for adrenal fatigue, okay? And people go, well, how long will it take to get better, given the ideal, scenario, treatment, etc. So a lot of holistic doctors have said for every year that you've been sick, you need to have that a month of treatment. So if you've been 10 years sick, that'd be 10 months of treatment. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule about this. Especially when it comes to patching, it's all over the map, in my holistic practice, I've not necessarily found that to be true. And part of the reason is because sometimes people feel like they've been sick for 2 years, but we know from Chinese medicine and energetic medicine that they've had imbalances for 20 years before they even manifest the symptom of the illness. So I have found it all over the place, and I don't know, who coined that particular rule. I, at least just personally, have not found that to be necessarily consistent, in my practice, but it could be in other people's. So, but that's a really, really, really great question. Okay, fantastic. So remember, this is going to be archived in the YouTube channel, which is public. You can feel free to share it. And if, whoever's listening in, if you're brand new to LifeWave, interested in phototherapy and you don't have a distributor that you're working with, you can just connect with me or my team members at patchtrainingteam.com, and we'll do a little quick chat to see if it's the right fit for you. And I look forward to training a little bit more with you next time. Okay, bye for now.